So, from our perspective here on Mother Earth, the sun appears to have moved on into gateway number 28. And gate 28 again is in what we call individual circuitry in human design, and therefore it is transformational by nature. It is innovative, it is different. It is not the regular tried and true the way things have been done before. It's always having that opportunity to break into new ground. And the 28, we've called it the game player. In the traditional Chinese I Ching, it's called preponderance of the great. The game player is in this game we call life. And life has all kinds of extraordinary opportunities for us. And the great thing is, what are we going to do with these things? What are we going to do with whatever life presents us? We're still in the spleen center in the human design chart, and the spleen center is very much about being in present tense. Zen presence. Here now, this is it. And so the game player is one that is a player who can play in present tense. Why the game player? Well, for example, in India, there is a word Leela. And Leela, roughly translated, means the game of life. Life is a dance, life is a joy, life is a play. And so here we are looking at Gateway 928, which is very much about this play of life. So here are the pages. And we can see in the wheel, when we look closely at the wheel, we have the 28 in the top right-hand corner here. We're still in the spleen center, but from the astrological point of view, we've moved on into Scorpio now. And Scorpio, again, having this very transformational quality about it. And we see the 38 up in the top left side there, and this makes up the channel of 2838, which is the channel we call struggle, a channel of being stubborn, individually stubborn. So why is somebody stubborn? What is the individual stance there? Their conditions are not being met, basically. The rules and regulations, I don't agree with them. I'm not somebody that works on a percentage basis. I'm working from an inner authority. And the 28 in the spleen center has, again, very much to do with our acoustics, our intuition. It's kind of an echo of the 57, this gateway called the gentle. So 28 hears what it wants to hear, hears the frequency match, and from that engages in present tense with life. And there's the whole thing. Life is actually a present tense thing, is the reality. We are drawn very much into the past. We kind of project all sorts of things into the future, but the reality is right now. And so the art of playing the game of life involves being present, being absolutely clear in this particular moment in time. So the gameplay of life, what's the key there? The key is persistence, to stay with it, stay with the game, right? Stay with this life. Life is always presenting us new possibilities, new things. There's always a fresh moment. And the 28 is, okay, are you equipped to play in this fresh moment, or are you kind of drawing in all kinds of inferences from other times or possibilities or potential complications? Splenic is instantaneous. The mind goes off into all kinds of different dimensions, all kinds of different time frames and stuff. Embracing life's personal challenges with courage, tenacity, and celebration. So if we're playing a game of life, if we're really involved in it, yes, all kinds of challenges show up, and if we're dealing with them or engaging with them from the present side of things, then comes this opportunity. Wow, that was a great game. Let's celebrate. And that's always a part of the background of this particular hexagram, is to recognize any achievements or any conclusions of games or aspects of games. It's a great opportunity to celebrate. And very often when I see somebody that has the 28 in their design, I say it's a very, very important thing for you to realize is celebration is absolutely a key to having this gate. Celebrating your individuality, celebrating your presence. So the commentary, by acknowledging the fear of dying, right? Each one of the gateways in the spleen center has a sense of concern about survival. How am I going to make it? All the 7 gateways have their particular fears, and the fear of the 28 is opposite of life is death. And so the chance here is to get so caught up in, well, it's all over, it's not going to work, I'm going to die, why bother? And so one side of the 28 can be just to give up, like there's no point to it at all. And the other side of it is just seeing, well, actually, there's a possibility here. I've been given the 4-10, or maybe it's 4-20 these days. Who knows? There is this possibility of life extension, maybe even more than that. And so the great point is to be here, be present, be full on in this game. So by acknowledging the fear of dying and finding your inner equilibrium, you hold true to your own standards among all the unbalancing forces of the world. Right? We're talking very much about an individual gateway here, an individual stance. And the world is throwing out all these rule systems, all these belief systems, all these qualities you're supposed to live your life by, things you've got to do, the births, marriages, and deaths business. And all the time, this is the 28 is saying, look, life's a game. Let's play it well. Right? And part of that playing it well is to get over that sense of, well, death, it's all going to wrap up one day. Why bother? I'm getting old and creaky. Maybe the game's over already. Maybe I should just retire from life. And retire can be spelt 2 ways. Retire, yeah, I give up. I'm just going to put my feet up now. Or retire. You put on a new set of tires and go for it. Right? So here's the real challenge, is to get over that fear of death and keep on trucking, keep on going. So by acknowledging the fear of death and finding your inner equilibrium, you hold true to your own standards among all the unbalancing forces of the world. You triumph when you combine presence and commitment in playing the game of life. Keywords: present and commitment. I'm in it, and I'm being called to interact in present tense here. And of course, the bottom line here, never forget that life is actually a celebration. Life begets more life. Life is constantly expanding. Basic law of the universe. So let's have a look-see at the lines. 6 lines, and we're going to go into the first line first, as we do. And the first line with the 28 and with any hexagram, it's always putting out the foundation. Am I involved in this or not? Because if I'm involved in it, I'm going to go full on into it. Right? If I'm really here for the game of life, I'm going to play it to the max. And so here the line is called offering, being prepared to deal with challenges. Right? Life's going to throw up all kinds of challenges anyhow. Right? Are you going to put some aside, not going to bother with these things, or am I just going to play? And through that playing, find the celebration, find the dance within whatever it is that life is presenting to me here. Now we're saying this is very much an individual gateway very much an acoustic gateway, very much an intuitive gateway, picking up on the frequencies of things. And the thing of it is, as an individual hears what they either are capable of hearing or what they want to hear in a way. And somehow there's something in that 28 that can screen out certain things. I don't want to hear this. It's not interesting to me on some level. It can be an unconscious thing. I just, this doesn't mesh with my life at all. And so even to the point where the 28 can become quite deaf, just can't hear it. And fading of hearing in life is a very quick way to lose one's sense of individuality. So a lot of attention, if you've got this 28th gateway, to just really look after your hearing, like monitor how many rock concerts you go to or whatever, or just, be aware that the 28 has that capacity to filter out certain sounds. So the first line here, being prepared to deal with challenges, attuning to the needs of the moment, right? The moment within the spleen center, it's present tense, it's right now. You attend to either useful or to unhelpful factors. It's just that attunement, that intuitive sense of, I'm in this one or not so much. Here with Mars, the drive, you have the drive to pursue anything that might assist in handling life's challenges. You're just open to it. And there's that thing, I'm going to get into this thing full on, and I'm involved in finding out any which way I can get through these challenges, whatever life wants to put my way. I'm in for the game of life. The Venus side looks more for a kind of harmonic side to things, engaging a need for harmony rather than encountering the needs of the moment directly, kind of letting things slide, letting things slip away a little bit. And instead of really engaging full on and being open to what the challenges represent, because being an individual anyhow is a challenge, because the rules and the disturbances in life are telling you all kinds of other things. So the individual has to maintain that clarity and that strength. Second line, a friend in need, right, is a friend indeed. Finding and offering assistance, finding and offering assistance in tough times in unusual places. Again, the individual always draws to them under unusual circumstances, unusual situations. And the 2028 is really, okay, we're in this play of life. Life's dealt me a very awkward hand here. How am I going to play with this thing? And so the second line, in its natural state, just, okay, it's part of the game. I'll find a way to play it. If the second line is compromised in some way, well, I don't want to know about this. I'm just going to pretend. I'm going to stick my head in the sand and there's nothing going on here. And so the key here is recognizing, okay, and maybe I feel a little overwhelmed by the circumstance here. Maybe I can find friend or support or some input here, some encouragement from another source. And also the second line can lend that succor to other people as well. You fulfill your needs by aligning yourself with any source that is willing to assist you. That's the natural way. It's part of the game. Maybe there's a team involved here. And all kinds of people can join in and assist with what it is that needs to happen here. The sun's energy here, you intuit where to find the best assistance, whether you make obvious choices or not. And obvious choices, sometimes second line will go right out the box, it'll go looking for assistance in a completely different environment altogether. Just follows that sense, follows that intuitive sense to find the best accord. With Jupiter, an expansive nature may forego personal principles when under pressure. And there's that thing, the 28 is very personal. It's very much the individual's way of engaging in a situation. It's innovative, it's different, it's novel. And it's not necessarily going to get the input from the collective. We've got different ways of doing these things. We've always done it this way. And here we are, the second line as well. Here's my natural approach to it. Third line, being daring. And here it is, right on the edge. The third line's always dance right on the edge of things. And they're natural born risk takers in a sense. They're the pioneers. They're the first one in. They're going where nobody's gone before. That's the whole nature of the third line. And the third line is being daring, relying on your own wits when facing an unknowable future. Can the future ever be known? Can the sense of where life is taking us ever be a sure thing? And so the 28 really throws out that challenge. This is a dance. This is a game of life. How are you at this? You're going to just fade out and back away with it all, or you're going to engage with it. And so the third line takes the risk, is the daring one. Reacting brashly or fearfully, right? I'm really clear on this word reacting, right? A challenge comes our way and we react to it. When we react, we take an old way of dealing with it or some borrowed way of dealing with it. When we respond to a situation, when we engage naturally with a situation, when we use our wits in a situation, we stay in present tense. We stay in it. It is part of the game. So it's saying reacting brashly or fearfully can cause you to lose touch with your present reality. Right? So the 28 really calling us, be in the present, be in this moment here. Saturn gives you the self-discipline to listen to your intuition for guidance, especially in times of struggle. Stand your ground, pay attention. What's going on? What am I picking up here? What am I intuiting here? What's the reality? Have I learned to trust my wits? Or do I need instructions? Anything in the individual circuitry is not very good at following instructions. I just have to say that, because the acoustic realm is constantly bringing in an intuition, bringing in a sense of personal engagement here. And so Saturn can really give a self-discipline here to honor your own wits, to, yes, I will get through this. Here, the Jupiter side of things, the more expansive side of things, your promotional nature tends to favor external realities over personal intuitive guidance. And here's that thing of, maybe I'll just honor the crowd or get along with the way other people reckon on doing this kind of thing. I'll take somebody else's way of doing it. When we get to the fourth line always has this potential of being very influential into other people's lives. We are all engaged in this thing of engaging in present tense, in a personal empowerment, in a personal growth point. And so of all the lines, the fourth has this certain fragility about itself. Are they with me or not? Am I presenting something that engages everybody? Am I opening myself up to a massive level of criticism here? And so fourth line can very easily fold when there's a lot of criticism. Oh, well, I didn't really mean it, and I don't really have it. And here the line is calling itself be strong. In the game of life, be strong. It's your life. Right? Whatever is happening to everybody else is their life. And so the fourth line here is saying, okay, be strong in your life, finding extra inner resources to learn and grow. And that is, bottom line, is trust in yourself. We've all been encouraged to put our attention into other people's lives. Oh, they did it like this. So-and-so's got it like that. So someone's so good at doing it like that. And in our own life and in the own things that we engage with here, the fourth line is saying, be strong. Find that extra inner reserve to be strong in yourself. Either you combine your intuitive gifts with the inner strength, or you collapse under duress. The duress comes from engaging from other people's points of view and just folding when there's a little bit of criticism, or a lot of criticism for that matter. We're all here living our own life. That's the point. And here Jupiter gives it an intuitive depth, embraces difficulties, and touches others' lives by personal example. And there's a real key for this fourth line with the 28, the game player. Whose game are you playing? Are you playing your own game? That's what's called for here. Mercury, confusion is almost guaranteed by attempting to think your way through difficulties. The thinking brings in the should, the could, the would, the might, the must, all these mental obligations. And immediately things spin out of any sense of reality. They don't work for you. You're borrowing other principles instead of the spontaneous approach through being strong and trusting in your own nature. We get to the fifth line, which is always in this realm of being able to lead and guide and teach. And the line is called trusting, relating clearly with your present environment, right? Everything about the spleen center is present tense. It's the reality, the intuition in this moment, the little tap on the shoulder that you get, this heads up that you get in the middle of everything. So present reality and trusting in it. Trusting in the present tense. All the clues that one needs is available in the present tense. You can intuitively honor your reality or attempt to restructure it and cause it to collapse. I think we've all had a go at restructuring our realities from time to time and seeing there's a challenge in it, and do we ever derive full satisfaction from it? In a game that is always in a state of flux and movement. Do we play and enjoy the play, or do we play it in such a way that we've kind of structured it all and then afterwards have all kinds of regrets about it? Oh, I didn't play it right. Oh, I could have done it differently. And that's the thing, about being in present tense. There is only this. The Sun here, by constantly seeking personal benefits in your life, you appear to be unreliable to others. And here's that possibility with the 28, the game player, is like deriving personal benefit from the plays that you have in life, because you can see what everyone else's situation is. There's an edge of taking advantage, or not even that, but just blindly accumulating and not providing that benefit that the fifth line can provide. Then we get to the sixth line. This is the final line in this 28th gateway, and I call it grandeur. Questing for greatness, right? Questing for greatness. It's a fabulous game, this game of life. Questing for greatness, sometimes getting in over your head. Just stepping that one step a little bit too far. And so the sixth line can do that. It can always be out there in the dance, absolutely the leader of the dance of life. But again, always we say with human design, get a check on your type and authority. And then it'll tell you, is this a game that is really calling to me in this particular moment in time, or am I just making a habit of it? Questing for greatness, chasing the Holy Grail, whatever it is. Holding high ideals makes you reluctant to put up with personally degrading circumstances. And sometimes life brings on potentially degrading circumstances. The dance of life, it's not always fun and games. Sometimes there are real challenges, and one has to step back a little bit, step down a little bit to really engage clearly with them. And here Pluto gives it a deeply intentional and essential drive, compels you to win in the game of life regardless. How do you win in the game of life? Every play that you have brings you that sense of satisfaction, that sense of celebration, that sense of presence. And that is a key for all of us, however we play the game of life. It's not about comparing it anywhere. It's not necessarily about, winning, beating other people in it. It's about being so fulfilled in oneself that, the game, I'm good at this game. I love playing this game. And I'm playing with the universe. I'm playing with God. I'm playing with existence. I'm playing with love and all of it, and celebrating. The Neptune side of it, an irrational fear, can trigger depression. Right? All individual gateways in the human design system have that potential for depression. They're different. They're not according to everyone else's ideas about life. They're not written in books anywhere. This is just an individual approach to things. So irrational fears can trigger depression, reminding you to relate again to your constant truth. What is your reality in this moment? I can't talk from any kind of medical standpoint, but the key for all individual circuitry is acoustics. And that vibrational attunement to frequencies that inspire, that uplift, that bring benefit. And of course, if you're going into a place of depression, of course, go in there, be total in it, be absolutely within that. But then remember, there's another side to it as well, to come out. The 28 ultimately has this fear of death. It's an irrational fear because we're all going to die. And the whole thing is, in the meantime, while we're here, whatever life has put before us, whatever life presents to us, and in this time where this rapid change is taking place, step up into the game, recognize the challenge, play it on your behalf, play it according to your design, your type, your authority, and be present. And of course, you're going to win in the game of life, because life is an amazing opportunity to have so much celebration.